Hello, so today we're going to have a client testimonial with Emma and Mark, who've kindly offered up their time and they're willing to share their experiences with you at home to help you get an idea of what it's like to work with us at Focus PT from the client perspective. So hello, Emma and Mark, thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Meg.
Hi. So the very first thing I'd like to ask you is what made you get in contact with us in the first place? Why did you sort of take that step and what were you looking to gain?
We'd just moved down to Southampton and had got out of what was quite a good routine of exercise where we lived before. We exercised regularly and we stuck to it. But with moving house and doing a lot of work on the new house that we bought, we'd really got out of the habit, hadn't we?
Yeah.
And it was the wrong time of year. It was dark. You were working long hours, and we just got out of the habit and were really struggling to get back into it. So looked online and found you, and that was it, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we just wanted structure to what we're doing, because as you know, we kept relatively fit before with a lot of our running and other exercise and challenges we do, but we needed a structure and we didn't have one. And being in a new location, we didn't know anybody, so we did a research and found you.
So, and have you used a personal trainer before or a gym membership? I know you've mentioned running there.
Yeah, we have been long-time members of gyms where we used to live. We've never done personal training. I've had a few sort of little one-to-one sessions with people, but only about form and focus rather than what we get with Focus PT.
Mm-hmm. And so do you think, you mentioned obviously getting a little bit of structure and regularity into your training, obviously being in a new location, but also meeting other like-minded people. So what do you think stopped you? Obviously you moved a few months before that. What do you think stopped you from doing it, achieving those things on your own without a personal trainer?
I think part of it was just the time we moved. We moved when it was really hot, and we moved into a location where we were out in the middle of nowhere because we rented for a while in a barn. So doing things naturally outside the front door didn't happen. You had to drive and do something because it was just dangerous. When we moved into Southampton, we just did it in the autumn, as Emma said, and we were looking for something to give us that spark. And Emma came up with the idea around Christmas that maybe we should look at something like the place you offer to give us that. And I say structure because sometimes you need to be given a challenge to achieve, and some of the challenge was actually attending a class rather than going to the gym, because I've got a gym in my garage and I don't use it. So we needed something else to trigger it, and joining somewhere like this was the thing.
I'm sure that'll be the case for so many people, particularly in lockdown. I know from our industry's perspective, gym equipment's been sold out everywhere. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to know how many people have actually used that equipment, and in particular, how many will continue to use it beyond lockdowns and things like that.
Yeah.
So when you first got in touch with us, obviously you saw our information online. Did you have any reservations before you came in here, or any concerns?
I think I did. With it being a personal training gym, I was a little bit worried that even though we had a certain level of fitness, I wasn't going to be fit enough to do what you were going to ask us. You expect lots of very well built, muscly people that do all sorts of heavy lifting. And I was certainly quite worried that being 5'2" and not particularly well built, I wasn't really going to be able to do anything or join in. But I think that was my concern, not having been to a gym like yours before.
How about you, Mark?
I don't think I had a fear of sort of joining the gym, because as I said, I've got a gym here and I've been part of a gym before, and I just saw I needed something that gave me something different to just doing the cardio stuff, and going somewhere where someone was going to push us. So what I didn't really have the reservations Emma had. It was more about, let's go and try it and see how it works out. And over a year later, we're still here and love it.
Absolutely. So here we are, we've had a year together. Can you explain what your experience has been like during that time? So you did have those reservations, but what was reality versus what you sort of perceived it might have been?
It was absolutely nothing like I was worried about. Everything is so well done there. The trainers that you've got there make you feel so comfortable, so at ease. It's tailored to what you can do but with a challenge in there. So constantly pushing what you were able to do last week, but within the boundaries of not expecting to be the world's strongest man within the first fortnight of turning up. Everybody that goes to the gym is really friendly. So you don't feel under pressure to be like the people you see doing the big weights and all of the challenges. So
yeah, I think for me it's the fact that the classes are small and controlled. Even before COVID, they were nicely grouped but the focus there was for everyone to do similar things, but depending on your strength, ability, size, it was tailored to what you could do. And like I'm competitive, so it was great to be pushed that extra bit, but within the boundary of being safe. Because I always want to lift more, do more, and I wasn't allowed because you had a proper good training program and guidance program, so I couldn't injure myself.
And I go the other way, where I'm not competitive, so I would only do what I could manage without ever pushing myself, unless I had somebody saying, no, you can lift more than that, try an extra bit, perhaps reduce the reps that you're doing it for, but try and step it up a bit. So we've got the two ends of the scale really, and that's where people like you and Dan have helped. You can tailor it to the competitive and those with lack of confidence completely in what they're able to do.
Oh, that's really great that you tapped into that, because that is really, one of the things that we are most proud of being able to do. It's not your job to know how to advance or regress exercises, but you can feel quite safe. You can lose that mental load of having to think for yourself, essentially. You can just come in and we'll guide you through it, and, individually for you. What do you both feel that you've gained over the past year by working with us and the community as a whole?
I think it's surprising how far you can push a boundary. So, I'm a runner, so I'm slightly built, about 70 odd kilograms, but I got close to lifting 150 on the deadlift. And the reason why I haven't got more than that is because of lockdown. So those classes stopped. So I can't wait to get back to try and push that limit well above double my body weight, which I've achieved, but I want to go more. I want to do treble if I can, because I didn't think I could do double, so treble must be possible. So let's give it a go.
And again, probably the same for me, where I wouldn't have pushed myself. I think I've gained a lot of confidence in, yes, you can actually do it. You can do a pull-up without somebody standing underneath you, pushing your feet up in the air for you. It might only be one, but one is more than I ever thought I'd be able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. So having had that experience over the course of the year, now of course, Focus PT isn't a cheap option. If someone's looking for a gym membership, as I often refer to it as, essentially a gym membership is nothing more than hiring equipment. You don't actually get the support, guidance, programming, motivation, accountability, all those other things that we do here. But obviously you probably sort of stepped into it on that sort of trial offer, probably with a view to not necessarily staying in the long term, but just taking what you can. But you have stayed with us for a year now. So what for you is meant that the money that we charge was highly valuable? So the service that we charge offered great value for money.
If I go on the straightforward one, you pay the cost, so you have to turn up. So it gives you that focus to get there, because otherwise you're throwing your money away.
Yeah.
I think that the bigger benefit is because you've got trained, knowledgeable staff, you do things that complement the things you can already do. So I run a lot, but doing some of the squats and other exercises and different types of different ways of using your body has made me stronger. And I know I'm quicker and I've got more stamina with my running now since I joined. So doing that from in gym, I would do a weight session, I would do a bike session, a treadmill session, and I would just repeat that forever. And so I would get fitter, but not necessarily better. Whereas with the Focus PT stuff, okay, it's more expensive than a traditional gym, but you've got somebody that knows what they're setting out to achieve with you if you give them a little bit of extra information that helps. And like me, I'm not very bendy, but I can touch my toes, I can do other things, and whilst I can't do things that others can, I don't mind because I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
The environment you create.
It's the personal service, such small classes of people, and you know that there's up to 4 people in a class, but sometimes when we turn up it's just the 2 of us. It's that very, very personal service. So if there's something you particularly want to focus on or an issue you've had that week, you can explain that and then you'll tailor the session to us, which you wouldn't get in a large class. You
wouldn't get in a gym,
no.
So yeah. So I think the cost is justified by what you get out of it.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's the thing that people will realise by giving it a go. Because yes, it's expensive compared to a normal gym, but it is completely different. And it is like Emma said at the start, you get a perception of people come in, big muscles, lifting weights, you know, lots of sort of testosterone flying around the place. But this is different because you can do that if you want to.
Yeah.
But you can be competitive with other people in a friendly, nice way, and we do. There is that sort of competitive edge to things, but within your own abilities. Whereas in a gym, you can be scared off quite easily.
So, of course, it's not just an investment of your money, but also investment of your time. And you've been continuing to train with us frequently for, as we've mentioned, a full year now. So what has made you keep coming back when each month you can decide sort of, do I continue, do I not? You guys have kept going. So what's meant that for you?
I think because we knew we'd got fitter by doing it, we did consider, do we need to carry on? But when we considered, do we need to carry on, we realised it helps give us that stability and that structure we're looking for. So and particularly when you're busy, everybody's busy in everyday lives, you know, you need something that gives you that focus to go and turn up. And I think all of the benefits you get and from being part of the team in what we do, or the family, if you want to say something slightly different, because it is more fluffy. Yeah, if you want to go fluffy, it's the money starts to become irrelevant because it's giving you that thing, and also as well, it's just well-being. You know, mentally, you forget about all the rubbish at home or at work, or you know, some other problem, because you're focused on doing something that is in a protected bubble, and you're testing yourself whilst having fun. So
we enjoy it.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. You know, when we got to that stage where we were fit and we were exercising regularly, we could have given it up, but we enjoyed it so much. It got to it and we didn't want to. It almost doesn't matter how much it costs. There are other things I'd rather not do to come to the gym.
Well, it's like it's the other things as well you don't get if you do it yourself is, you know, training with you once with the pull-ups. I love doing pull-ups, and then you push me to put the body weight things on and all that type of stuff. And then went past the body weight vest and with the belt, with the weights dangling between my legs. And that was just, whilst it was brilliant to do, it was fun as well, because it was a bit of a laugh and watching you don't catch yourself, or, you know, all those things. You know, there's just lots and lots of good things that just happen by being in the classes. And you won't get that on your own. We know that because we were gym members before. And that just doesn't happen in the same way.
So having the knowledge that you know now and all the sorts of things that you've been talking to me about today, if you were to speak to yourself, you know, perhaps 15 months ago, as someone a bit on the fence about whether they should get involved in something like the work that we do at Focus PT, what kind of advice would you give someone?
Just try it. Just give it a go. What are you going to lose if you don't? You've got to try it. You could really like it. If you don't like it, if it's not for you, just stop going. But you'll probably find you really enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't think I can say anything different really, because it's give it a go. Never. I always try stuff, no matter what it is, because I never want to be left wondering. So in that simple form, you've got to go and try it. And like Emma said, if you don't like it, or you just don't think you're going to get something out of it because of, you mentioned cost earlier, as an example, the worst thing you can do is stop. So there's nothing to be afraid of. You know, and like you say, you've got a great team of people around you, and the people who come, we know whilst over the last almost year now, there's not really been any sort of social interaction outside of the classes because of the COVID stuff. It hasn't mattered. because even in the Zoom classes we have at home now, you still get that friendly, competitive chat. And I don't like to use the word banter, but it's banter. It's just, you know, even being away from each other, it hasn't made a difference. So no, it's good. Yeah.
So do you have anything else to add that you think the people at home might find useful?
No,
just be brave and walk in the door. Go and have a chat.
Meg doesn't buy it. But it does make you do.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your experiences with us today. I really appreciate it, Emma and Mark.
Thanks,
you.
Meg.
Okay, so how have you two been finding our training sessions over lockdown?
Love them. Absolutely love them. The Zoom, they're brilliant. It's a great idea. Luckily, we've got plenty of room so we can still do it together, which is what we enjoy doing. So yeah, brilliant.
I think as well, because it's you find tiny little things that were personal things of other people who are at the classes with, which you may never find out. Like, you know, people got dogs running around, or you know, they've got to use their settee to help them get up, or you know, just silly,
me the other day.
just silly little things, really. That just in a I guess could have driven people further apart, because, like, you know, we don't really know anybody that well, but in a different way, it sort of potentially brought people closer together, because, you know, it's just nice to see other people. And like I say, when there's funny little things that happen in your house and you would never get in a gym environment, it just adds to it. So I think we've not struggled at all. It's been brilliant. And again, because the class is at set times, if you've had a bad day at work,
makes you
then
finished, doesn't it?
and you know at 6:30 you've got a session. So go and do it. So it's good.
So a lot of people, when the physical gym doors have had to close, whether that be a gym membership or whether that be clients like our own who do personal training, they've decided to freeze their membership for a while and just step back from it. But you guys have decided to take us up on our online training, as we've just mentioned, and continue with it throughout. Why is it that you decided not to freeze your membership and keep it going?
For the reason we joined, we needed that structure and we wanted to keep going. It's very easy to give up. And I guess a lot of people have struggled through this thing that's going on because they're in their own four walls all the time. Whereas we, as Emma said, we're lucky, we've got space, so we just definitely wanted to carry on. And actually, through the first lockdown, I think overall we became stronger from a body position wise. And we definitely noticed it because we kept on running through the lockdown. Obviously safely, but the exercises through the Zoom classes focused on other things that you probably didn't spend as much time on in the gym because you don't have the environment in terms of the weights, the row machines and that type of stuff. So perversely, it actually made us stronger.
Yeah, I mean, there could be a tendency, if you freeze the membership, you freeze your exercise.
Oh God,
Yeah,
really,
do you think that you would have done, I mean, obviously you're very keen runners, both of you, but do you think you would have done the kind of exercises you're doing in this session with us, you know, all the bodyweight training and stuff, if you didn't have those Zoom sessions to attend?
Not
probably
all, no.
very unlikely.
No.
I think not only have we stuck to those Zoom sessions, but I think that's helped us keep going with other things. So you've got the cycle in the front room now.
Yeah, I've got the spinning bike in the front room now.
And you know, we have carried on running, perhaps not as much, but we've tried to keep the running up. So I think that exercise once a week has sort of made us carry on with the other bits of exercise that we're doing and look for similar exercises to the Zoom thing.
That structure is a really important element as well when we're all in the same four walls all day and things, and just that break from routine is really important. And where you said, you know, it makes you finish work on time. When you work in your home, it's very difficult or very easy to let it slide later into the evening. So yeah, it's really good points. So obviously sometimes we've been open, sometimes we've been closed during the pandemic. In the times when you were able to come and actually physically train with us in the studio, what did we do that made you feel safe? I mean, did you feel safe? Were there particular elements of what we did that helped you to feel that way?
I think you just, because you set things up, because you cared about what you do, you were safe, you felt safe when you walked in. So even behind you now with the tape on the floor, you can see where things were structured. When you came in, it was, you know, wash your hands, take your temperature, sanitized. All the workstations have the right equipment, so you can wipe things down. You don't have to share equipment because there's enough there. So it just felt safe and secure. And in some ways, didn't even really notice the difference. It's just you had to do a thing at the start, clean up, and do a thing when you left. Make sure you were safe in terms of sanitize and hygienic.
And I think the speed you reacted to any announcements that came out, the detailed messages you sent out as to, to try and keep us up to date with what's happening at the gym and what we would need to do when we came back, whenever that may have been, and then a follow-up with what we had to do, sort of temperature checks and all that before we did come back. That just shows that the gym and your clients are at the forefront of your mind, and that gives you a reassurance that you are taking every precaution to make sure that we're going to be okay when we're there, because we were all desperate to get back there. So to know you were desperate to have us back as well, and we're doing what we could do, certainly how quickly you reacted to everything was, made me feel an awful lot better about it.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us today, and your time, of course. And we, as you say, the Zoom training sessions are brilliant. We can keep in touch with everyone, but we can't wait to see everybody in person again back in the studio soon.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Same here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.